Welcome to the IE Crypto Show. Are you sick and tired of YouTubers pitching their next moonshot project only to find out months later that they were completely wrong? Worried the next crypto trading course you spend thousands of dollars on is used only to upsell you other programs and supposed insider information? Concerned why that altcoin you just spent your life savings on dropped 35% just hours after you bought it? Join thousands of other crypto enthusiasts looking for success in the crypto space without the hard sales pitch, straight from your host, Matt Maloof.
Good morning, crypto enthusiasts, and welcome. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show, where you tune in each week to learn more about Bitcoin, the circular economy, and cryptocurrencies in general. I'm proud to say that this episode is being brought to your earbuds, courtesy of our very own IE Bitcoiners. We have a social gathering on meetup.com where you can go search IE Bitcoiners. Join us so you can be notified of our next Bitcoin meetup over coffee, tacos, some happy hour cocktails. We're located in the Inland Empire, so search IE Bitcoiners. We also have a Facebook group as well, IE Bitcoiners for Inland Empire Bitcoiners, where we post more often news, helpful information, and tutorial videos on topics that can help you along your Bitcoin journey. We spend literally hundreds of hours every week scouring the internet for resources to add to your Bitcoin tool belt. Don't just listen here. Go out there, join us online and face-to-face so we can turbocharge your privacy, liberty, equality, and Bitcoin. Find our Facebook group at IE Bitcoiners. Don't forget to find all of our links to resources and exchanges that we use ourselves to take back control of our financial future at the iecryptoshow.com. That's the iecryptoshow.com. All of our resources are located at the iecryptoshow.com. We have a great show lined up for you this morning, talking about hand watering out on the homestead and how it relates to Bitcoin market observations with the topsy-turvy market that we've experienced lately. I think it's kind of timely we discuss this. News you can use, listener Q&A, and the Moist Minute, where Mitchell will be educating us about reasons to be optimistic on Bitcoin price, despite the recent price drop. Then we have a very special interview with my buddy from the Orange County Bitcoin Meetup, Asher. A few weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to attend a demonstration where Asher went through step by step how to set up your very own Bitcoin node and why it's important to run one to secure the Bitcoin network. It was an educational and informational demonstration, and after answering many questions, Asher was kind enough to to sit down with me and record an interview for us to learn a bit more about Bitcoin and how it can benefit families and small businesses in the Inland Empire. You don't want to miss this one. Now, remember, nothing in this show is financial, legal, or tax advice. Just some opinion and musings on the matter of Bitcoin, privacy, liberty, and equality. Remember, observe, plan, execute, adjust as necessary, stack sats always, be happy and live well. Now on to the show. We're going to do something a little bit different and just kind of riff on this week. So, why do I hand water my plants? Pretty much every day, especially now that it's 100 degrees and a heat wave out here in the Inland Empire. So we have about 35 to 40 various fruit trees throughout the homestead with shrubs, plants, and the like. And we could have installed drip irrigation and automated watering system and all a few years ago, but we decided not to. Part of the reason was because we just wanted to take the hose and go out there every single day and hand water each of the plants. Now, this whole process during the summer is about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. We have a lot of plants that are low water usage plants, so they don't take very much water at all. And we have a few that are a little bit more water intensive, either a couple of times a week or once a week. So why do we do this? Well, we made the conscious effort to get out there every day and sit in the dirt and water and observe the plants. You know, we look at the leaves, we look at the fruit, we look at the new growth on the seasonal vines and such to have a little bit more time, and energy with our plants and be cognizant of what's growing well, what's not, where there might be some pest control problems and issues, and where the sun might be burning a few of the plants. So if we need to adjust the shade with umbrellas or move some other potted trees and plants over to help cover them and things like that. The point is, we consciously made the decision to spend more time and more effort to take care of our plants in a little bit more of a hands-on basis. Uh, so how we relate this to Bitcoin is, well, I'm a big believer personally in dollar cost averaging. So somehow, some way, just purchasing every single week and or every single month, set aside some money and put it into Bitcoin. Put it into Bitcoin every week, every month. Put in a certain set amount, and when the dips happen 5 to 7% or greater on any given day, we'll put a little bit more in. Uh, could I set this up on a little bit more of an automated schedule? Well, yeah, I could. But the point is, similar to how we made the conscious effort, spend a little more time and a little more effort on our plants. I want to spend a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to be conscious and cognizant of my Bitcoin portfolio, what it's doing and how it's doing, going into some of the exchanges or some of my favorite exchanges to buy the Bitcoin. Where the price action is moving, each of the different exchanges will have slightly different prices, and there's a variety of reasons for that. But it allows me to be a little bit more conscious, a little bit more cognizant, and a little bit more aware of my portfolio and what's happening on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis, and a month-to-month basis. So I can put in a little bit more of that observation time, a little bit more energy and effort into what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then how I'm going to do it. Uh, all the resources that we have for where I use to buy my Bitcoin is all on the iecryptoshow.com. You can check it out. If you have any questions, definitely send me an email, the iecryptoshow@gmail.com. Now I know this is not the most efficient way to be doing things, but at the end of the day, for this exercise and what I'm trying to do is not necessarily be the quickest and most efficient. To kind of practice a little bit more, being in the moment, being a little bit more present, being a little more cognizant of my surroundings, whether it's on the homestead or in my cryptocurrency and Bitcoin portfolio. What's going on, what's moving, why, and how, which is why how this market has been a little topsy turvy for the last month or so. Here we are in middle to late June 2021, and I'm not as stressed out over Bitcoin being down as much as 50% off its all-time highs from just a few months ago. I'm actually much more calm and cognizant of where we're at in the cycle and realize that, look, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is at least a $550,000 asset masquerading at $34,000. So again, I think that Bitcoin, the market cap of Bitcoin, is at least equal to or greater than the market cap of gold, which are around $12 trillion, puts Bitcoin in the $550 to $600,000 per coin price. So that's my price prediction. That's what I'm investing for. That's what I believe in. Whether that happens next year, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, not really sure, but I am committed to buy and hold or buy and hodl, hold on for dear life, throughout all the daily and weekly dips. Again, observe, prepare, and look at your surroundings and know more, most importantly, why you're getting into this asset class, why you're accepting Bitcoin in your small business, why you're holding Bitcoin in your treasuries for the long term, why you're getting Bitcoin for your family. That's to increase your privacy, increase your liberty, and increase your financial future and success in your life. With that, thank you much for listening, and on to the next bit. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the IE Crypto Show. Now on to some news you can use, where the first bit of news, outside of all the FUD and the negativity and the China's banning Bitcoin, China's restricting transactions, and the miners are getting kicked out, all that stuff. At the end of the day, it's really not going to have that big a movement against Bitcoin. The fundamentals of Bitcoin, the network of Bitcoin, the nodes of Bitcoin are all strong. The mining will resume. The mining will resume um, in a much more sustainable, environmentally friendly way. Hopefully, a lot more here in the US that'll bring jobs and security. So we're going to get rid of all that negativity and not even worry about it. At least for now. Got some small, minor hiccups and bumps here, but in the long term, it's going to be better for Bitcoin. It's going to be better for us hodlers. So the next major piece of news, MicroStrategy now owns over 100,000 Bitcoins worth more than $3 billion after the latest purchase. So MicroStrategy a couple weeks ago had announced they were going to sell some of their stock, about $500 million worth, to, guess what, buy more Bitcoin. And what did they do? They sold their stock. They raised about $500 million to go out and do what? Buy more Bitcoin. And it looks like they bought about 13,005 Bitcoin tokens for around $489 million, bringing their total well past 100,000 Bitcoin. Michael Saylor has been an avid purchaser and hodler now of Bitcoins for about a year since he jumped in. Follow him on YouTube, follow him on Twitter to really, really learn some great macroeconomic views and values of why he's buying so much Bitcoin and using the cash flows from his company to do so. Basically, what he's doing is front loading his dollar cost averaging on the Bitcoin. So instead of his company MicroStrategy going out and buying, 50 million Bitcoin, or $50 million worth of Bitcoin every month for the next 10 months, he just front loaded it all, buy it now while it's on sale, and then wait because he's got the long time horizon that any of us that are buying Bitcoin or investing into cryptocurrencies should have minimum 5 to 7 years. So whatever money you can put into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, expect that money to be locked up for a minimum of 5 to 7 years to realize your biggest gains and your best. On to the next one. So Mark Cuban calls for regulation after his DeFi token investment crash. Oh, well, no wonder. Crybaby Cuban hyping up DeFi and all these other spit coins out there and things that he's doing. And then he gets rug pulled. So he put in a lot of money into a very risky cryptocurrency project where it had a little volatility to the downside. So it started losing a little bit of money. Everybody got spooked and everybody cashed out at the same time. So it was basically like a run on the bank, and uh, this particular cryptocurrency ended up pretty much going back down to zero and lost a few $1,000s. For a billionaire, not much, a couple of pennies, and he's crying because he got rug pulled on it. So stick with Bitcoin. It's the number one cryptocurrency out there, the granddaddy of them all for a reason. Next piece of news is the World Bank refuses to assist El Salvador's implementation of Bitcoin as legal tender. So El Salvador recently passed a law to accept Bitcoin as legal tender, and they're pretty much giving themselves 90 days to implement it and do that. And according to the World Bank, is we are committed to helping El Salvador in numerous ways, including for currency transparency and regulatory processes, a World Bank spokesman told Reuters. While the government did approach us for assistance on Bitcoin, this is not something the World Bank can support given the environmental and transparency shortcut. So, not sure what they mean by that because the World Bank doesn't seem to have any issues with blood diamonds, blood oil, human trafficking, or any of that kind of stuff. And transparency, well, Bitcoin and blockchain being a public ledger is much more transparent than all the US dollars that are used for financing such blood diamonds, human trafficking. It's almost better that the World Bank is not going to help El Salvador, so El Salvador can get up on their own 2 feet and really start running themselves. And I would be following El Salvador on a monthly basis going forward to see how well they're eventually going to do by accepting. With that, this is news that you can use with Matt with the IE Crypto Show. You're listening to the IE Crypto Show. Don't forget to check out our website, theiecryptoshow.com, for links to all the resources that we recommend and use personally. That's the iecryptoshow.com. Also, for a more interactive and fun-filled, upfront, up-close, personal experience, you can find us on meetup.com as well as Facebook at IE Bitcoiners. Just go to meetup.com and search IE Bitcoiners. Join our group and come meet us for coffee or happy hour. Also, check out for our group on Facebook at IE Bitcoiners, where we post a little more frequently about news, information, and videos that will help you in your journey in Bitcoin. Whether you're a software developer, a Bitcoin miner, a hodler, investor, newbie, or still just looking to make your first Bitcoin purchase, stop by for a chat, have some coffee, some happy hour, relax with us, and let's just chat Bitcoin in a fun, friendly, social environment. That's IE Bitcoiners on meetup.com as well as Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the IE Crypto Show. Go to Twitter, search the IE Crypto Show, and give us a follow. The rest of the Sundays in June, we'll be meeting at 9 a.m. at the White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa, California. So come hang out, join us for some coffee and Bitcoin chat, 9 a.m. Sunday for the rest of June. White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa. You're listening to Matt with the IE Crypto Show, and on to a little hodgepodge of listener Q&A. So we have, how is crypto different from stocks? Well, both rise and fall on a day-to-day basis based on supply and demand. Purchasing cryptocurrency in general is you're purchasing a token asset or an underlying project, whatever that project might be, which is more of a digital currency, where buying a stock is you're buying actual piece or slice of equity or ownership of the company. And based how the stock distribution is first handled, that might be a little bit of equity or a lot of equity. You might have some voting rights attached to it, or maybe not. You may or may not have somewhat of a say in how the company is ran in the future. And then next is, what is a blockchain? So you can think of a blockchain as sort of like a digital bookkeeper. You got to do your monthly budget and you have your income, wherever that might be, from W-2, you might be self-employed, you might be running a small business. So you have all of your income, and then you have all of your expenses that are basically leaving your pocket probably about as faster than you're bringing it in this day and age. And a blockchain is basically like a digital bookkeeper, digital ledger of what's going on in a particular cryptocurrency. So it's a running log of all the crypto transactions and keeping track of what currency, or specific currency, Bitcoin, went from what wallet to what wallet. And Bitcoin being a public blockchain, you can go on and look at all the Bitcoin wallet addresses. You can look at the history of each wallet address. So you can almost think of that as if all the banks in our great state of California made every checking account number publicly available. And you can go and see the transactional history of every single checking account in the state of California. You may or may not be able to ascertain which checking accounts belong to US Bank versus Bank of America versus Wells Fargo. You just know that what money was going from what checking account to another checking account. And you might not necessarily know who owns those particular checking accounts, but it's basically a public ledger of all the transactions and everything going on. So, and the last one is, what keeps crypto protected? And so, because the crypto records are stored across many computers, or in Bitcoin case, many nodes, tens of thousands of nodes across the entire world, all talking to each other and communicating with each other, where our buddy Asher will discuss a little bit more in detail how some of that works. They're basically, the nodes are talking to each other, verifying the transactions. You never know which couple of nodes are going to verify your particular transaction, which means there's no centralized third party in there getting in the way of transacting Bitcoin from one wallet address to another. I send some of my Bitcoin to you, you send some of your Bitcoin to me, and the nodes across the network randomly will verify those transactions. Kind of a oversimplified manner. So as long as we have a few nodes running out there, our transactions are secure. And Asher will discuss that in a little bit more detail. Probably, definitely, much better than that. So with that, it's a listener Q&A for this week, and on to the next part. This is Matt with the IE Crypto.
If you need power of attorney, quitclaim deeds, or loan signing services, contact IE Mobile Notary in the East Valley area of the Inland Empire. At ienotary.org, IE Mobile Notary of Redlands will come to you. IE Mobile Notary is available after hours and on weekends. They also offer notary for any state of California documents requiring apostle and concierge services. IE Mobile Notary accepts Bitcoin payments and also speaks Spanish. Remember ienotary.org for IE Mobile Notary.
And now, back to our program.
You're listening to the IE Crypto Show. Don't forget to check out our website, theiecryptoshow.com, for links to all the resources that we recommend and use personally. That's the iecryptoshow.com. Also, for a more interactive and fun-filled, upfront, up-close personal experience, you can find us on meetup.com as well as Facebook at IE Bitcoiners. Just go to meetup.com and search IE Bitcoiners. Join our group and come meet us for coffee or happy hour. Also, check out for our group on Facebook at IE Bitcoiners, where we post a little more frequently about news, information, and videos that will help you in your journey in Bitcoin. Whether you're a software developer, a Bitcoin miner, a hodler, investor, newbie, or still just looking to make your first Bitcoin purchase, stop by for a chat, have some coffee, some happy hour, relax with us, and let's just chat Bitcoin in a fun, friendly, social environment. That's IE Bitcoiners on meetup.com as well as Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the IE Crypto Show. Just go to Twitter, search the IE Crypto Show, and give us a follow. The rest of the Sundays in June, we'll be meeting at 9 a.m. at the White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa, California. So come hang out, join us for some coffee and Bitcoin chat, 9 a.m. Sunday for the rest of June. White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa. Welcome back, IE Crypto enthusiasts. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. You can find us online at the iecryptoshow.com. And we're now getting ready to head over to the Moist Minute with Mr. Mitchell, who will be educating us about the reasons to be optimistic on Bitcoin despite the price dip. Now, we all know the last month or so has been quite the wild ride. Bitcoin's been very volatile, up and down, lots of ups and downs. Seems like many more downs than ups. I don't even want to spoil anything here, giving it away with what Mitchell's going to talk about, because it is really good and makes me even more optimistic on Bitcoin and its future price and pricing and everything that's going on with the Bitcoin market. So with that, take it away, Mitchell.
Hello, crypto enthusiasts, and welcome to this week's edition of the Moist Minute. Today is June 21st, 2021, as I'm recording this, and currently Bitcoin is hovering around $31,000. And I am going to present the case as to why you should still 100% be bullish on Bitcoin and how to stay optimistic during a price dip such as this. First off, the first thing to remember is to just zoom out, all right? Year to date, go back June 21st, 2020, Bitcoin is up 240% since then. So again, Bitcoin, long-term vision. With that long-term vision in mind, it's performing great. No need to worry. The second thing is volatility is extremely par for the course with Bitcoin and any emerging technology. You go back to Amazon in the 90s, it would see 90% dips, but over the course of time, 20 years, it's up big. In the 2013 Bitcoin bull run, we saw drops of 56%, 83%, 2017, 86.9% dip, 34% dip, 40% dip, 83.6% dip. Currently in this 2021 bull run, we're at about a 50% dip from the all-time high. This is par for the course. Do not worry, buy the dip. Second reason to be optimistic is there's been a lot of FUD, which stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt around Bitcoin's energy usage. and I'm going to debunk some of those myths right away. So every year, the world uses 160,000 terawatt hours of energy per year. The Bitcoin network every year uses 120 terawatt hours of energy per year. That's 0.07% of the world's total energy consumption. Bitcoin is less than 1%, less than 0.1 of 1%. It is not using up any energy at all relative to any other thing we use. Compared to the value we get of Bitcoin, a decentralized peer-to-peer transaction system and absolutely scarce store of value, 100% worth 0.07% of all energy usage. In the United States, Christmas lights use more terawatt hours of energy per year than Bitcoin, the entire Bitcoin network globally. So again, the energy FUD is no reason to panic, no reason to worry. There is always people in the politicians, in politics and media who try to use the environmental aspect to scare people into giving them more power. The morality of that or the science behind that can be argued, but it is a common theme. There is always people who want to push the fear of energy and destroying the earth to give politicians more power. Another reason to be optimistic, again, El Salvador. A few weeks ago, El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. You can ask Siri, hey, what is the currency in El Salvador? And it's going to say Bitcoin and US dollar. This is a great reason to be optimistic. This is the first country. There's going to be more. This is just the first domino. El Salvador is making huge gains by getting in early. Another reason to be optimistic is as of the end of March, there are 70 million Bitcoin wallets in existence. A year ago, there was only 50 million. The network is growing. More people are getting involved. The snowball effect is happening. Do not worry about the price. There's still plenty of reasons to be optimistic about Bitcoin. As of today, June 21st, Bitcoin absorbed 2.5% roughly of the altcoin market. All right. So Bitcoin today, as on June 21st, is down 11%. However, Ethereum down 17%, Litecoin 18.5%, Chainlink 20%, Cardano 16%, Matic is down 20%. All of that compared to Bitcoin being down just 11%. So it is absorbing that market. That is something we've seen. We saw a lot of that in 2017. There was ICOs, the initial coin offerings, and there was a huge crash in the altcoin market while Bitcoin continued its journey upwards. Despite the dips and the bear market, over the long term, Bitcoin is drastically outperforming all of these altcoins. And again, inflation is happening. Like I have mentioned in previous Moist Minutes, it is not a myth. Asset prices are going up. On average, over the last year, houses in the US are up 15% everywhere in the US. Lumber is up 300% right now. Beef prices are up 20%. We will see that inflation continue to happen. Prices will continue to go up. The dollar is becoming worthless. Worth less, I should say. It still has value for now, but the money supply has 50% of the money supply came in the last year, all right? It's not, inflation isn't happening right away, but it is happening and we can see it and it's very quick. And once hyperinflation ensues, it'll be much faster. So again, plenty of reasons to be optimistic about Bitcoin. I hope I laid it out clearly for you guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Moist Crypto. And this is Mitchell, aka Moist Askew. See you guys on the next Moist Minute.
Well, thank you, Mitchell. That was Mitchell Askew with Moist Minute, who this week is talking about the reasons to be optimistic on Bitcoin despite the price drop. Talking about some of the many past dips. Bitcoin energy consumption uses less than the Christmas lights that the US uses. So, if you want to ban Bitcoin, probably should ban Christmas lights first. And El Salvador making history as the first country to accept Bitcoin, and how there's 20 million more Bitcoin wallet addresses now than there was at this time last year. And some great stuff. Don't forget to follow Mitchell on Twitter at Moist Crypto, and you can follow our show at the IE Crypto Show. We will be right back.
Save the economy and invest with Matt. Do you want to build wealth at all levels of income? Invest with Matt. You want to learn about and understand cryptocurrencies? Invest with Matt. What if you've been taught to create your goals all wrong and you really want to achieve them? And what if you could really manage and save your time? Save the economy and invest with Matt. Book a call with Matt Maloof today at investwithmatt.com. Located in Redlands, California, investwithmatt.com. Life advice built for the digital world.
And now, back to our program.
Welcome back, IE Crypto Enthusiasts. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. You can find us on Twitter at the IE Crypto Show or on Facebook or meetup.com, IE Bitcoiners. Next, we're going to get into an interview with my new buddy Asher, who's going to talk to us about the economy and Bitcoin being a grassroots sort of movement, Bitcoin nodes, as well as his education experience, a little bit about the infamous BTC Pay server and how it's going to revolutionize all of you small business owners out there. Free projects that are out there and royalty-free payments and all the small business owners out there to eventually take cash, credit, or Bitcoin is going to be the basis of our interview today. And Asher's a really great guy. Let's just jump into it. Welcome back, crypto enthusiasts. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. And we are sitting here talking to my friend Asher, who I know from the Orange County Bitcoin Network Meetup group. And Asher was kind enough to give us a lecture last week on full nodes and running a full node and really achieving some true privacy and sovereignty in your Bitcoin journey, whether you want to run the Bitcoin node at your house just to support the network or use it in conjunction for payments and a full complete payment processor where you could really act as the bank, the card payment processor and the settler and everything all at once within a few minutes of accepting payment from your customers. So it was very educational, very entertaining, and Asher, was a great guy, answered a lot of questions and really clarified a lot of stuff on Bitcoin nodes for me personally, which I was very happy about. So welcome to the show, Asher. How are you?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on. It was good to see you last week.
Yeah, you too. You too. It's always good to see you at the meetup groups there. We're trying to get our Inland Empire chapter up and going a little bit more. And also, thanks for joining us. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Who is Asher?
Good question. So I grew up in Maryland on the East Coast. Not a California native. When I was about 22, I joined the Army and spent about 6 years traveling around, working a lot overseas. And then when I left the Army in 2016, I moved to California to do my master's in business at Pepperdine University in Malibu, and then ended up moving down to Orange County right after that for work. And then at the beginning of this year, I left my previous job in finance and mergers and acquisitions and moved into kind of entrepreneurship in the Bitcoin space. But that's kind of my bio, rough rundown, very quick, of where I've kind of geographically been for the last 30 some years.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service. How was the Army? I mean, you said you were a medic in the Army?
Yeah, that's right. I joined as a combat medic in 2010. And as soon as I got in, I got picked up for a unit called Civil Affairs, which is a branch of special operations in the Army. And it was a really great opportunity because I got to do some really unique deployments, a little bit different than a lot of the more traditional deployments that you might see in movies. So I worked in Guatemala, in really rural Guatemala, doing some humanitarian aid work. And then I did a tour in East Africa, in Kenya, mostly focusing on diplomacy and kind of economic empowerment and humanitarian aid there as well.
So what in terms of economic empowerment, what does that mean out there?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was in Kenya in 2015, and something that kind of struck me was at the time I didn't have Venmo or Zelle or any of the kind of mobile payment apps. I still wasn't into Bitcoin at the time, but in Kenya and a lot of Eastern Africa, they have this mobile app called M-Pesa. And the interesting thing about M-Pesa is that it works on pretty much any phone going back to like a 1990s Nokia candy bar. Like it's
Wow.
really low tech, and it's a mobile payment system. So when I was out in rural Kenya on the East Coast in these kind of remote villages, we still had everybody there was kind of paying each other with their phones, these ancient phones, and it was kind of an eye opener because we didn't have that in the U.S. at the time, or at least I didn't, and I think we were just kind of getting spun up on Venmo at the time, and really shortly after that, I learned about Bitcoin, but that was one of the interesting economic features in Kenya. The other issues they have there, obviously, issues with inflation. Their currency is called the shilling, and it's not hyperinflated, but there's definitely still some pain there, and they're at a disadvantage compared to countries that had been on the dollar. There's also just a lot of violence and instability. There's some terrorist groups and some criminal activity, poachers, smugglers, just a bad crowd that tends to run in that area. So my team, what we were focused on was working with the Kenyans in our area, civilians, local government, local institutions. Like we helped out a girls' school and brought them a whole bunch of equipment and materials for their students, just trying to get civil services up to a level that would hopefully bring some more stability to the region and push out some of those violent and criminal activities.
So like schools, clean water, sanitation, decent roads, things like that, when you say like civil services?
Yeah, that's actually a great estimation of what it is. We had a framework called SWEAT MS, which stood for sewage, water, education, economic advancement. I'm losing the acronym right now. Everything in the Army is an acronym.
Yeah. So the great thing about government service, everything's got an acronym, and there's so many darn acronyms. It's hard to keep straight.
Yeah. But it was basically a list of, the kind of, infrastructure that a lot of people in the first world in America might take for granted because you just grow up with, roads and there's a hospital down the street and you have a good public school. Those services don't exist in every part of the world. So we had a framework where wherever we would go, we would kind of look at a spreadsheet or build out a spreadsheet of what's available, what's missing, what's strong, and what can we do to help out in support of the U.S. government's objectives for nation building.
Okay, so it's kind of like a gap analysis where you see what they have and what they need, and then where you can fill in that gap, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's really good. I was just thinking too, when you were talking about the SWEAT MS, with the roads, the schools, the hospitals, a lot of the things that, as much as we might complain about America and some of the problems and issues that we have, which, honestly, I think every country around the world has its own unique set of challenges. But, there's a lot of the things there that we take for granted here that, a lot of parts of the world just doesn't have or have yet.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, I try not to be very political, but a lot of the times when I hear people talking about, radical change and, completely different forms of government in society or what have you, the thing that I think people are missing, a lot of Americans haven't traveled the world, or if they have traveled, they've just kind of gone to capital cities and to tourist towns. But when you really get out there into, rural, developing third world areas with a lot of problems, you see that we have something to lose here that I don't think a lot of people appreciate until you see what life is like without it. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think perspective is everything in life, and also having sort of that worldview. Yeah, I think.
But life is nice here in California.
It is for as much of the issues and troubles as we do have. It's, I think, still far greater than a lot of the troubles that we're facing. But it's never let a good challenge go to waste. I think gives us a chance to grow and to learn and be better.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, well, we have to take a quick break. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. We're talking to Asher, and we will be right back.
Excellence Real Estate will buy your home today. No repairs needed, no commissions, no inspections, and no closing costs. Contact them at ierealty411.com. ierealty411.com. Excellence Real Estate will buy your home even if you have no equity, with offices in Redlands. Excellence Real Estate is a full-service real estate network. They accept Bitcoin payments. Contact them at ierealty411.com. California Department of Realty, 1388701.
And now, back to our program.
Welcome back, IE Crypto Enthusiasts. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show, and we're talking to Asher, who's been telling us about his journey from Maryland out to California via a 6-year deployment as a medic in the Army, working in some very rural, distant third world countries, kind of helping improve their infrastructure and get them up and going with a lot of things we might take for granted here in the U.S. So welcome back, Asher.
Thanks, Matt.
So you had mentioned, okay, you were helping out in Kenya and such. You had just heard about Bitcoin around there, so we can start talking a little bit more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, sure. It's hard for me to say exactly when I heard about Bitcoin. I think I heard about it a few times, but I didn't think much about it. Maybe in the early 2010s, in the early days, and I kind of dismissed it as a novelty or a scam or something. And
yeah, that's kind of how I was. I'd heard about it, and it was a novelty. I thought it was a scam. I knew some con artists that were using it, way back in the day. It was on Silk Road, et cetera, et cetera. But then, you sort of educated yourself enough to get past that. So then, remember your sort of aha Bitcoin moment?
I don't think there was one specific aha, but it was while I was in business school. It was the first time in my life I had taken an economics class, and I had some really good professors at Pepperdine University, but I'm a kind of a contrarian student. So whenever my professor tells me something or we learn something in class, I like to just go out and do my own research and see if there's conflicting opinions out there and what's the other side of the story, because there's always two sides of the story. And the form of economics that we studied was primarily Keynesian economics. And it's
so
kind of.
Can you explain real quick what Keynesian economics is?
Yeah. So, well, I'm not an economics professor, so I'm probably going to butcher something here. But essentially, the idea behind Keynesian economics is that you can have a central planning government kind of shape the course of where the economy goes through actions at the central bank or through regulators. And that's kind of been the way the U.S. has been run for a long time. And it's worked pretty well. We are undoubtedly the world leader in a lot of different ways. But there's another school of economics called Austrian economics that kind of illustrates a contrarian point that the economy is built up out of the actions and decisions of individual people. And when enough people kind of act in the same way, that creates a force that moves the economy in that direction. And it really has nothing to do with the central planners.
Kind of like what we're seeing in Bitcoin today, where enough people have slowly but surely been jumping on board, accepting Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, investing in Bitcoin, using it as payments, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin is a totally grassroots movement, which is why I think it resonates so strongly with people that subscribe to the Austrian school of economics and that theory. Retail was first in Bitcoin. In 2010, nobody used Bitcoin. In 2011, only computer hackers and nerds were using it. In 2012, maybe it was just used for ransomware. In 2013, it was used by drug dealers. And here we are where, last year, the critics are saying, well, it's only small US corporations that are using it. And now this year they're saying, oh, well, it's only small countries that are using it. And we're just kind of going up this ladder of relevance and importance in the world. So it's a really exciting time for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it's a completely grassroots movement borne out by, the record is clear. That's the interesting thing about the internet is you can go back and see what people have said on public forums and the lectures they've given. And it's an interesting trip down memory lane to go back and see who was talking about in 2011, 2012, what they were saying about it, and kind of their image of what the future is and how that's really coming to fruition now.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Bitcoin is batting 1,000 against everybody. The negativity, the FUD, and the naysayers and such. It just keeps rolling. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the Bitcoin is the strongest and most secure computer network on the world in the world, which is accurate. It is the strongest. It has the most computing power, and it's never been hacked, and it has 100% uptime for 12 years now. But the other thing that Bitcoin has is the human community behind it, which really isn't matched by any other financial instrument, whether it's a stock or whether it's gold or anything else. There's a really high level of conviction and a rapidly growing number of people that are adopting the Bitcoin standard, joining the monetary network, and see the benefit of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I think the numbers now are starting to grow exponentially. And you'd mentioned about, say, like running. I remember you'd mentioned in the Bitcoin node lecture that you'd given, or actually demonstration, because you actually set up a node in real time in front of everybody and did all that. And it was great. And I remember reading there was like 10,000 or 12,000 Bitcoin nodes in the world. But what I didn't realize was that most of the Bitcoin nodes are actually ran through the Tor network, which is a private internet browser that sort of cloaks the public use, let's say, the Bitcoin node. So we know that there's a lot more than just the official quote unquote 10 or 12,000, whatever they said it was, because there's so many people running private nodes sort of behind the scenes. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's impossible to get a real count of how many people run a full Bitcoin node and where those nodes are distributed. There's some that are visible and public, but the vast majority are hidden. And one of the ways we know the vast majority are hidden is because if you go to the social media or even the GitHub repositories for a lot of the companies that or groups or projects that run Bitcoin node software or produce Bitcoin node software, you can see they have way more followers, way more fans, way more adherence to their products and services than the quote unquote official count of Bitcoin nodes. So it speaks volumes to the technology that even when people are running a full Bitcoin node, if you have your security properly configured, it can't be seen publicly, which is good for cybersecurity practices. But it does make it kind of an interesting question. How big is the Bitcoin node community? Nobody really knows.
I know it's an interesting question. We only got about a minute and a half till break. Just for our listeners out there, what's one of the top 1 or 2 benefits to somebody just running a Bitcoin node, let's just say at their house?
Well, first off, it's a great educational experience. Anybody can do it, and it can be done relatively cheaply. If you buy some parts from Amazon or Micro Center here in Orange County, you can get it done for a few $100s, and to a really high quality. And you just learn a lot about running a system, building a system. In terms of Bitcoin itself, some of the most interesting features I find are BTC Pay Server, which is a free and open source project that lets you run a retail storefront and point of sale system in Bitcoin. So just like you might have a Verifone, or if you own a store or run a store, you have your own inventory management system and point of sale system. There's a free version of that on Bitcoin that you can set up totally free, no third parties, and have it done pretty quickly too.
All right, let's leave it there for one quick second. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. We're talking to Asher, who's our local Bitcoin node expert buddy, and we will be right back.
If you need power of attorney, quit claim deeds, or loan signing services, contact IE Mobile Notary in the East Valley area of the Inland Empire. At ienotary.org, IE Mobile Notary of Redlands will come to you. IE Mobile Notary is available after hours and on weekends. They also offer notary for any state of California documents requiring apostle and concierge services. IE Mobile Notary accepts Bitcoin payments and also speaks Spanish. Remember ienotary.org for IE Mobile Notary.
And now, back to our program.
Welcome back, IE crypto enthusiasts. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. We're talking to Asher, who is going a little bit more in depth about how he discovered Bitcoin and sort of educated himself to get over some of the early naysayers and opinions and FUD to kind of get into Bitcoin and all things freedom. Welcome back, Asher.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, so you mentioned right before we went to break the BTC Pay server, which is basically like a inventory management and point of sale system that you can put, I guess, over your Bitcoin node. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's basically, you could think about it as a plugin or an app that runs on your Bitcoin node. And it's completely free and open source, which is good for both, if you're cost conscious, typically you end up, if you run a small business, you'd end up paying a company for the privilege of setting up your storefront. Like Square is a really popular one. And you also have a bunch of middlemen essentially that in your point of sale system. The way BTC Pay server is set up is that if you have a full Bitcoin node that you control, you can run whatever software you want on there. So there's all these free projects out there because the whole spirit behind Bitcoin, the whole community is very much supportive of free and open source projects. BTC Pay server is a great one because it does for free what so many companies charge so much for at small businesses, and especially now when we're seeing inflation, maybe hyperinflation. Nobody knows really what it is. The central bankers are saying it's transitory, but they've been wrong before. So when you start seeing the kind of macroeconomic environment we're in, especially if you run a small business, you're looking for ways to increase your gross margin. And one of the ways to do that is to have a point of sale system and a way to accept payment that doesn't have any middlemen taking 2, 3, 4% of your fees just for a customer to give you money.
Okay, and can I use this at like a restaurant or a tire shop, mechanics, appliance repair?
Yeah, there's here in Orange County, we have the Orange County Bitcoin Network that Brian Harrington runs, and he's done a great job onboarding a lot of local businesses to BTC Pay server, setting up their own kind of royalty-free payment channels. So, a great example is in Newport Beach. There's an amazing hamburger restaurant called Nex Burger, Nexx Burger. And when you go to check out there, they ask you, do you want to pay cash, credit, or Bitcoin? And
oh, that's great. Cash credit or Bitcoin.
It's phenomenal.
That's what I think all small businesses should be saying soon.
I totally agree. It's really a great experience to see it in real life. I don't know if there's any restaurants that are doing it in Inland Empire, but there's a lot of small businesses that are onboarding in Orange County and LA and my neck of the woods. But if there's any in Inland Empire, I'd love to hear about it. Take a trip up there and help support the community.
Yeah, that's just part of the ethos of the show here is to try and get as many blue collar small businesses onboarded onto the Bitcoin standard as we can. To accept it. So those of us that might want to spend some of our dollars in Bitcoin or Bitcoin, have more places to do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Asher. And yeah, we're definitely going to be having Brian on a future episode real soon. Well, that's going to be exciting. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the listeners before we head out here?
Sure. I created a website recently called nodecouncil.com, and it's a totally free forum that anybody can go and sign up. And it's just a place for people that either run a node or are interested in running a Bitcoin node or just have questions about what a Bitcoin node is. You're more than welcome to create an account, ask any questions. There's no stupid questions. And myself or one of the other folks on the website that runs a Bitcoin node will be happy to help you out, answer your questions, and see if we can get you to that step of running your own node, taking control over that sovereignty and getting started.
That's great. So that's nodecouncil.com? Yep,
that's correct.
And are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. My handle is at Asher68W. It's at ASHER68W.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Asher. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show. And thank you so much to Asher for taking the time to come help us and educate us a little bit about Bitcoin nodes and achieving a little more privacy and sovereignty with our wealth. With that,
Thanks, Matt.
we will be right back. You're listening to the IE Crypto Show. Don't forget to check out our website, theiecryptoshow.com, for links to all the resources that we recommend and use personally. That's the iecryptoshow.com. Also, for a more interactive and fun-filled, upfront, up-close, personal experience, you can find us on meetup.com as well as Facebook at IE Bitcoiners. Just go to meetup.com and search IE Bitcoiners. Join our group and come meet us for coffee or happy hour. Also, check out for our group on Facebook at IE Bitcoiners, where we post a little more frequently about news, information, and videos that will help you in your journey in Bitcoin. Whether you're a software developer, a Bitcoin miner, a hodler, investor, newbie, or still just looking to make your first Bitcoin purchase, stop by for a chat, have some coffee, some happy hour, relax with us, and let's just chat Bitcoin in a fun, friendly, social environment. That's IE Bitcoiners on meetup.com as well as Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the IE Crypto Show. Go to Twitter, search the IE Crypto Show, and give us a follow. The rest of the Sundays in June, we'll be meeting at 9 a.m. at the White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa, California. So come hang out, join us for some coffee and Bitcoin chat, 9 a.m. Sunday for the rest of June. White Rabbit Coffee Company in Yucaipa. Well, thank you again, IE Crypto Enthusiasts. That was a fun and interesting show. We talked a little bit about why I purposely choose to spend extra time and energy out on the homestead, hand watering plants with the hose, and how that relates to Bitcoin observations, the marketplace, and dollar cost averaging. We heard from Mitchell in the Moist Minute about the why to continue buying Bitcoin, a little bit of news you can use, some listener Q&A, and an awesome interview with my new buddy Asher from the Orange County Bitcoin Meetup Network. Don't forget, buy Bitcoin and then wait. This is Matt with the IE Crypto Show, and we will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much. Don't forget, the IE Crypto Show.